Welcome back for a book talk video. Today it's Tuber Tuesday, so I'm doing a book tag, the Omnivore Tag. I was tagged by Rosie. She's awesome. I love her channel. She's always talking about great books. The original tag is by A Cup of Books, not to be confused with A Couple Books. For this tag, you pick 4 genres or subgenres that you like, and you talk about the same 3 questions for each of the genres. Up first is the 1920s and 30s murder mystery novels. My favorite is Murder on the Orient Express. This is an Agatha Christie novel, Hercule Poirot, his 10th book in the series, and I just love the way that the mystery is set up, all the red herrings and the funny, interesting characters involved. The second prompt for this one is a book that I just read or am currently reading in this genre. I just read The Glass Key by Dashiell Hammett. I got into a kick of reading all of Dashiell Hammett's novels. I read all 5 of them in a row, just real quickly. They're just little 200-page novels, easy to read, but this was the most romantic of them. And then for the third prompt in this genre, what's next on my TBR list? I would like to read The Body in the Library by Agatha Christie. It is a Miss Marple book, and I need to read more of Miss Marple's detective adventures. And this one sounds really interesting. It's book 3 in the series, and I assume that they're going to find a body in the library and she gets to investigate. I like the sound of that. The next genre that I'm looking at is hard-boiled detective novels. I know that sounds familiar. These are all kind of mystery detective novels. And my favorite is Dashiell Hammett's The Maltese Falcon. It's a really interesting story about this hard-boiled detective, and by the way, a hard-boiled detective is a serious guy. He's not going to be some stumbling person or an old lady who likes to look into things or an amateur detective who's joking around. This is going to be a serious man. One that I just read was The Thin Man, also by Dashiell Hammett. It was an interesting story, the way that it was set up. It's got a couple, Nick and Nora, who are involved in honestly trying not to look into a murder, but everything keeps dragging them back into it. And then I've got the one that I want to read next as a hard-boiled detective is by James Elroy, Blood on the Moon. This is Detective Sergeant Lloyd Hopkins, who sounds like a real serious hard-boiled detective. And I haven't read the James Elroy books yet, so I think this would be a good one to start with. It's got an interesting premise, a really interesting looking cover, so hopefully I will enjoy it when I get around to it. The third genre I'm looking at is satire of noir detective novels, and that brings me to Neil Simon's The Cheap Detective by Robert Grossbach, which is also available as a film, and it's got Peter Falk, who played as Columbo, playing this really goofy, stumbling guy, Detective Pettipaw, I believe, who is being used as a satirical device mainly against the Maltese Falcon, but other detective stories as well. Another book in this genre that I recently read is Pulp by Charles Bukowski. I just finished that, and let me tell you, it's bold. It's really out there. Charles Bukowski is purposely writing this quirky book that really makes fun of how the detective stories come together. And Charles Bukowski always makes me laugh. And then there's this book called It's a Wonderful Death by Ian McMahon, or McMahon. Apparently there are several books called It's a Wonderful Death, so if you do a search for it, make sure you put in this author. I assume it is a spoof on It's a Wonderful Life, but with a detective looking into a murder case with that town and community, or something similar. It looked like a great satire. The comments that people gave made it sound like it was worth reading. My fourth genre is modern mystery novels. I'm cheating a little bit here saying that my favorite is the Blacklist graphic novels because I love the TV show The Blacklist. Character Raymond Reddington, played by James Spader, definitely stands out as an interesting character. Not your typical kind of murder mystery stories, but some of them are investigations in that sense. The graphic novels are a lot of fun. It's great art. The artist really captures James Spader's emotions. A book that I just finished, it's a modern mystery novel, is The Guest List by Lucy Foley. Expect a full video on that book. But I was shocked to find that even though there are hints that there's been a murder and something's happened, most of the book is a bunch of flashbacks, so you don't really get to the who done it until it's been done at the end, which is odd. Like 10% of the book at the very end. And then a book I've got on my shelf that I've just been waiting to read, it's a modern mystery, is Tana French's The Secret Place. I don't know much about the book other than it's got a great cover. And when I read the blurb, I remember thinking that it sounded interesting. It was worth taking a look at. I believe it's a coming-of-age murder mystery, which I suppose could be its own subgenre. I could do this tag over and over again. If you would like to do the Omnivore tag, please do it. You can actually do it multiple times. It's been written as you pick which subgenres that you want to incorporate into it. Every day is a good day for a book talk. Peace.